Hello and welcome to episode 7 of my Minecraft Feed the Beast Monster tutorial Let's Play series. This episode is going to be on us using Tinkers Construct to smelt some ores and hopefully make some perfect tools. Well, that's in my opinion, of course. You'll all have your own ideas of what the perfect tools are, but let me just show you what my idea of the perfect tools are. But before we do all of that, I want to show you a couple of things to be aware of with the smeltery. So we built the Tinkers Construct smeltery so that we can smelt the ores in order to use them for making our tools and weapons. And we went through the last episode of also making these parts to make our casts. So first of all then, using the smeltery. So you choose the controller, you right click on it, and once you've filled it with fuel, which in our case is lava, we can then put some ore into the smeltery by just dropping, either right clicking to put one in, you put one into each slot. Now I'm only putting one in because I just want to demonstrate. First of all, looking in, you can see the ore there, and you can see the progress of it smelting. One ore, excuse me, sorry, one ore will double into two. So the smeltery is like our the way we've been doubling ores in the pulverizer. So okay, that's now smelted, and if we have a look, there is the liquid metal. Now I just want to show you something, that if you change your forge, and on this subject I want to say a thank you to Mr. Kev Rommel for stopping by in the comments and mentioning an idea that he uses for his smeltery. He puts his smeltery drain, he says, in the corner, and that allows him to use two faucets with two casting tables. Thank you, Kev, for your comment. I welcome all comments, as it is lovely to hear how you do things when you're playing Minecraft, and it allows the gamester to do more experiments. Now I was taking a look at that, but in the process I noticed when you remove the seared tank with your lava in it, let's show you what happens. So bear in mind I've got the aluminium that's smelted already, liquid in there. So first I'm just going to remove this tank. Okay, so you decide that you want to rearrange your smeltery. Well, here's something to be aware of. If you remove the seared tank with your lava, once it's got lava in it, okay, excuse me, sorry, and you then decide to put it all back together. So I'll now put that back. Okay, if we now look in the smeltery, oh okay, this time it hasn't happened, but last time I juggled my seared tank around in a little experiment, what happened was the fuel tank became empty. I still had the lava in the seared tank, but in the smeltery itself it was empty. The way to fix that, if it happens to you, is remove the smeltery, but before you remove the smeltery, empty out the liquids first, and I'll show you a way of doing that in a moment. In fact, well, why don't, no, I can't show you yet, we haven't got a cast for an ingot. Okay, so let's show you what happens if you remove the smeltery with metals in this that have been liquefied. So I'll take the smeltery off. Notice when you do that you lose any liquids in your smeltery. So the moral of the story there, before you start rearranging your smeltery, make sure it's empty of all liquids. Okay, well, it has been that this has been empty, but as soon as you replace your smeltery back, the fuel will refill back up. So there we go, that's what you do if you decide to change your smeltery around. Just thought I'd make you aware of that. Right, okay, so time that we continued on to try and make these tools. Remember to put your portable tank back to mode. Notice the mode, it says input. Remember to right click with your crescent hammer to change it back to output, so it continues on just filling up your seared tank. Okay, so let's take a look at the alloys that we're going to be working with. We're only going to be using 2. So if we come in to the book Mighty Smelting, and if we go to the page where it shows us the different ores, we are only going to be using 2. We're going to be using aluminium brass and alumite. Okay, so first of all we need to make the aluminium brass, which we will be using for making our casts, and you will see why we need casts. So to make this we will need 3 aluminium and 1 copper. Bear in mind when we put the ores into the smeltery they will double. So what this is saying here is if we put 2 aluminium in to the smeltery it will give us 4 aluminium, and if we put 1 copper ore in it will give us 2. So we're better off just putting in 3 aluminium to give us 6 and 2 copper ore to give us 4. That will then use up all of the material in the furnace, in the smeltery. Well, let's try it. So I'm going to put in 3 aluminium and 1 copper. So we go to our smeltery controller, and so 2 copper, and we want to have 3 aluminium. So we should just wait for that to, in fact what I may as well do is I'll put another load in, because we are going to need a lot and I don't want to have to keep waiting for it to smelt. Okay, so aluminium, you'll notice, goes nice and quickly. There you go, that's the aluminium. Now we're just waiting for the copper. Now if we look, you'll see as it liquefies it will appear in here, and as you do different materials, different resources, they will appear, you'll see, in their own areas, but as soon as you add the right components together they will turn into your desired liquid that you want, your metal. Okay, perhaps I did put too much copper in. Let's take 1 out. Okay, so now we have some aluminium brass. We will be using that, like I say now, to make casts of these items. So to do that we'll go to the casting table and we will first do a stone broadaxe head, which is one of the tools I want to make. So we will right click that into the casting table, then right click on the faucet. Now just to mention the liquids, when you've got lots of different liquids in here it will always pull from the very bottom of the smeltery tank. So we have in here at the moment molten copper and molten aluminium brass, 16 ingots of that and 2 of copper. It will pull out the aluminium brass before the copper. If you wanted to do the copper first, left click the copper and notice it puts it to the bottom. Now if we use the faucet it will pull out the copper, but we want to use the aluminium brass, so I will left click back on that. That puts it back at the bottom. Now if we come out of there and I right click on the seared faucet, see it will fill up and create a cast. There we are. We now have our first cast for the iron, for the broadaxe head. Next let's do the stone hammer. That's another tool I want to make. Click on the faucet. Now we could probably, oh no, we've still got plenty of aluminium brass left. Okay, so we've now got that. Let's put that over there. Next let's make a excavator. That's the next tool I want to make. There we go, we've now got that. Next let's do a tough stone binding. So we have that. and next the tough rod, stone rod. Right, okay, so we've got all of them casts made. Now if we go over to the chest, you will see that I've also made one for a shovel, one for a large plate, and a pickaxe head, and a normal tool rod, and a normal binding. Okay, so once you've used the stone to do that, you can put them back in a chest you place near your smeltery, as you can see here. Right, quickly what I must do is sleep, because I don't want a creeper blowing up the smeltery and me at the same time, as it will waste time, because I'll need to rebuild the smeltery, which I really don't want to have to do again. Right, okay, so carrying on. We've made a load of casts. I may not have made them all yet, we'll see as we go along. Now you can use different materials for the different parts of the tools that we're going to make. I like to use just 3 materials. Okay, you will see the 3 materials of my choice are paper, obsidian and alumite. So let's make some alumite next. Okay, so for alumite we will need obsidian, iron and well, let's just remind myself. Okay, so for alumite we will need 5 aluminium, 2 iron and 2 obsidian. Okay, now what I'm going to do before we do that is make a cast for an ingot, because we've got 2 copper in here and I don't want that to mix with the aluminium, because it'll turn it into more brass, and I think I've got enough brass. So any ingot will do. Let's use a copper ingot. What we do to make a cast for a copper ingot, we'll go back to the casting table, put the ingot in there and just fill it with aluminium brass. There we go. We now have an ingot. How will that benefit us? Well, looking in here you'll see we've got 2 copper ore. I don't want the copper in there, so the way to get it out is in ingot form. So we can just fill it like that, and again there. Now if we have a look, no copper, so it's all good. Let's put the cast back in there for now. Right, okay, so we've got the casts made. Let's have a look. Let's put them ingots in there. We've got the casts made. Let's make some alumite. So it was 5 aluminium, and it was, let's put in 2. No, so it's going to double it, so that will be 10, so that will be double for that, and for the iron two iron as well. Okay, so let's put 2 iron in. Now remember, I'm doubling them. I didn't want to do just 1 of each because I wanted double the amount. Now you can see here that these materials take a little longer to smelt, but we will get there in the end. Because I'm going to use the alumite for the heads of the tools. So for the pickaxe head, the shovel head, the broadaxe head, hammer head and the excavator head, I'm going to be using them materials. Let's show you why while we're waiting for that to smelt. So if we go into the materials anew and we take a look through here, let's find where I want to show you. Here's the materials. This is what I wanted to show you. Now, the materials that I mentioned to you that are important to me are obsidian. I use obsidian to get one thing, which is the reinforced free, and I'll show you in a sec what the reinforced free does. So we'll be making the rods out of obsidian, or if there's plates, one of the plates, whichever we can. And we will be using alumite for the tool heads because of the speed. You'll notice that for the materials that we currently have, the mining speed of 8 is the fastest. So that's why we're going to use obsidian, and that's why we're going to use alumite. We're going to use alumite for the mining speed and obsidian for the reinforced trait. And there was one other that I mentioned to you, wasn't there, which was paper. We're going to use paper for the modifiers. With the modifiers we can add, for example, redstone to speed up the tool, and we're going to use something else which will make it very useful. When we get to the nether, we can start to use ardite and cobalt, because you'll notice the mining speed is the best for cobalt. So that's what I want, some cobalt, but we're not there yet. I never really bother with this one. I can't even say it, but I never bother with that, so I won't waste time on it. Okay, so let's see if it's smelted. Yep, it has. Okay, we've got now just 6 ingots. That's not enough by any standards. So let's do another 5 while we're waiting. Another 2 of them. Another 2 of them. Another 5. In fact, do I want that much? Yeah, I'm sure I am. We can't keep waiting for it to smelt. 2 of them. And 2 of them. There we go. That's now 1 full smeltery. But we have some alumite, so we can start to make our tool. Okay, so we're going to be doing the heads with these materials. So what we're going to do is we'll start with the shovel head. Let's put that there. We'll put that into the casting table, and we'll make sure that the alumite is at the bottom. Remember, you just left click and it will put it at the bottom, which it is. So we will now notice where it says material cost when I hover over it. So it's going to use just 1 ingot's worth to make that, which is the same for the shovel head, I believe. Yeah, just 1 ingot. So once I pour this, we should notice that I will have, well, okay, it's still smelting them up. We should have 11 ingots once I pour this out. Okay, if we check, there you go, 11 ingots. So it tells you the material. Excuse me, sorry, my throat is playing up today. So it shows you with each tool, with the cast, by hovering over it, how much ingots you're going to need for each one. As you can see, these use a huge amount. So let's quickly get the smaller tools made. Okay, so we've got them 2 done. Next, let's do the broad axe head. That's going to use up a big chunk of my alumite. Oh, right, I need to start smelting more. Fortunately, because I had the quarry, that's what got me all my obsidian. I did use a terrain smasher to get 6 of them, but then I thought I can't be doing with this, it's far too slow using the terrain smasher. So I just relied on my quarry to get me. I got about 4 stacks of obsidian, so I've got plenty of obsidian. Okay, so let's just work out how much more we're going to need. We're going to need 8 for that. We're going to need 16 more ingots. Hopefully that will get us enough. We will see. So let's grab that. Okay, so that's the axe head done. Next we'll do the hammerhead. Do we have 8 ingots? Yep, we do. Okay, so let's put that there. Okay, next one of course is, so we've got the axe, we've got the hammer. Next we need the excavator. The axe chopping trees, hammer mining, excavator digging in the most wonderful ways, as you're all probably aware. Do a tremendous amount at once. Oh look, not enough. Right, 5 more. Oops, 2 of them, that is. 5 of them. And 2 more of that. Okay, so this is all of the heads. So what we're going to need is, of course, what other components. Let's take a look at materials and new, I believe. In fact, no, it's not that we want. Let's look in the tool forge. So we're going to make a hammer. For the hammer we need 2 plates and a tough rod. Now the plates I'll make out of obsidian. No, I'll make the rod out of obsidian and the plates out of paper. As funny as that may sound, you will see why soon enough. Okay, so to do that we use the part builder. So we want the plate for that, so we can have a paper plate. Yeah, we can eat and we can make ourselves a nice tool. I've got 1 paper plate already. What other materials? Oh, and I've got an obsidian plate. I could use that, I guess, to stop wasting it. And I've got a paper tough rod, so that's handy. But let's show you making at least 1. So the part builder, we're going to need two plates and a tough rod. So let's grab that. We'll use one of them. We'll use an obsidian plate for this first one. Okay, let's see if it's smelted. First we will sleep. Let's use my sleeping bag so I don't have to keep going back and forth. Okay, let's put that back on. Yep, that's done. So let's pour ourselves that out. Right, okay, so we now have all of the tool heads that I want to use. Trouble is, I've filled my pocket up. What do I not mind losing? Let's put the casts to them away. This is why it's handy to have a chest near your smelter. There we go, all nice and tidy. That's a first for me. Right, okay, so we've got the tool heads made. Let's see, so we needed, for the hammer, 2 plates. So if we put the plates in, the tool head, and actually we want 1 of that and that. You'll see over here now that we get a mining speed of 5.66, which we're getting from the alumite. The mining level is cobalt, so we can mine diamonds, which is cool, and when we get to the nether we can mine cobalt from there. The durability we don't care about. We don't care about that, that's why we use paper. But we also have got reinforced 3, which is the highest level for reinforced. Okay, and we're getting 5 modifiers. So notice the paper stacks with the modifier. Now you can name your tool. So can't have spaces. Well, don't think you can. Let's try. Oh yeah, you can. Okay, I still think there's a space in there. Let's just go back. Right, okay. There we go. Right, so there we are. We've got the tool made. We've got reinforce free. We can mine cobalt, and we don't care about this too much because we're going to use loads of redstone to speed it up. Okay, there we are. There's our first tool. We've not finished with it yet, not by a long shot. Let's make the next tool, which is the axe, so we can hew trees down in one go. Okay, so for this time we're going to need, I'm going to use the plate, and we will need another tough rod. So let's go to the part builder. So I've got the plate, we'll put that there. We need a tough rod, and I'm going to make this out of obsidian. There we go. And I can't remember whether it was 2, so we've got the rod. Let's have a look. We got the plate, we got the rod, we need a tough binding. Now, did I do a paper tough binding? I did. Cool. Okay, so oops, let's go back to here. Let's go back to the axe. So we've got a plate, we've got that, we got the binding, and the head. There you go. Again, we got 5 modifiers, and you'll see the how wonderful that is. And we got the reinforced free. Okay, and let's make our next tool, which is the excavator. We'll need another plate. We've got the head. So another obsidian tough rod and another paper plate and binding. So let's grab some more paper. It's a good job I had plenty. So we take that out. Actually no, I said we want another rod. And we want another plate. Yeah, you see it uses a lot of paper. But it's a good job we've got unlimited paper. Okay, let's put that in. And that. Right, let's go back to here. Now we're doing the excavator, so we'll put in the head, the plate, the binding, and the rod. Oops, don't know what happened there. Let's try again. Oh, okay, I didn't know if that would all fit. Right, and again, we've got 5 modifiers we can apply to it. I know the durability looks good, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so, and we're getting the quickest speeds. Let's grab that. Okay, now we just need to make a shovel and a pickaxe, and then I'll be happy. I don't think we're going to have enough time for me to do a weapon as well. So for that, we just need a head and we need the rod. So I'm going to make, let's see, so for that, I need to just do a normal tool rod out of paper. And for the pickaxe, a binding out of obsidian, and so 2 paper tool rods. So that, we want 1, we want 2, and we want a binding next out of obsidian. Okay, notice it only uses half of the material, so we get a shard left over. Right, let's go back. Let's now make our shovel. And let's make our pickaxe. Right, okay, time has gone, but I'm going to finish this. I started, so I will finish. Okay, and the rod, and there we go. And will it allow me to, yeah, excellent. Whoops. There we go. Right, okay, so there's our tools, and you're now saying to me, they aren't perfect tools, how are you? They're made out of paper. You're a lunatic. Why would you make tools out of paper that you're going to use to mine, that's going to rip through the durability of it? What sort of madness is that? Yeah, that's exactly what you're thinking. Now let me just see if I can quickly find the trait that I wanted to tell you about, the reinforced material. Reinforced, here you are. Reinforced, 10% chance per level of not using durability. So what that equates to with what we're going to do, let's quickly go and show you. We've not finished making these tools. I'm sorry that I'm running over time, but I want to show you this. Here we go. So let's grab one of them, and one of them. Hardened energy cells. You know, you make your leadstone energy cells that I showed you previously. Well, also you turn them into hardened. Oh, I know where they are. Here we are, and here's a few more that I made previously. They have to be fully charged. Okay, make sure before you use them for what I'm about to show you, you fully charge them up. If you don't, it won't work. Okay, so now we come back to the tool station. Right click, and it's got here, so we'll put in our first tool. We will add a hardened energy cell. Oh my goodness, look at how cool that has now become. Let's grab it. There we go. That, my friends, is becoming the perfect tool. We've not finished with it yet though, because we still have all the modifiers to use on it, which are 4 remaining. Let's do our axe. Let's do, oops, our excavator. Let's do our shovel. And let's do our pickaxe. Now, these tools, we can build a machine, which we are going to build, that recharges them. But I tell you now, to use up 2 million RF in the tool, I'm going to die and lose the tool long before it will run out of power. But having said that, we aren't concerned if the power does drain, because we can recharge them. Right, okay, the next thing we can do, I can't go on any longer, I've gone over the timer. In the next episode, we will look at how we can further modify these tools to make them, to get ever closer to that target of being the perfect tools. But as you can see, we're well on our way. Not only can we mine diamonds and cobalt to make even better tools, we have reinforced free, so there's a chance it won't use the power RF in them as we use them, and also of course look at how much power they have, so it'll be a long time before they run out. Wherever you are in the world, God bless you and keep every last one of you safe. Thank you for watching and have a fantastic day. I hope you enjoyed this episode on the perfect tools. Goodbye.